Hello everybody! It's the end of October in Ohio, so that means it's time for planting garlic. I'm going to show you a really quick visual tutorial of the cut and dry parts of planting, and then stick around if you want to learn a few tips and tricks for a fabulous garlic harvest. Let's jump in. Tip number 1, how to choose between hardneck and softneck. A lot of this really comes down to personal preference, but here are the basic differences. Hardneck varieties have hard necks, but really it's this formation of a long flowering stem, which you will see referred to as scapes. People like to harvest these in the late spring, early summer, and they're quite tasty. But upon maturity, those stems will become quite hard, and they're dry now, so they're really brittle, but they don't have any bend to them, and you can see why they're called hardnecks. Softnecks, on the other hand, don't form that long flowering stalk, and when they're harvested, their stems are quite soft and pliable. So this is the variety that you'll see people use for these lovely garlic braids, because you can easily twist and braid the stems of softneck varieties. Another difference between hardnecks and softnecks are in the bulbs themselves. So softnecks kind of tend to have a lot more individual cloves in the bulbs. Sometimes they tend to be smaller cloves, and they also tend to have very tight skins or wrappers, and this will actually help softnecks to often store a lot better than hardnecks do. Hardnecks kind of have one layer of usually quite large cloves, and they're a little bit easier to separate and peel. They tend to have thicker but less tightly wrapped skins. And while there are hardneck varieties that store really great, in general they don't store quite as long as the softnecks, just because of that wrapper habit. And the last difference between hardnecks and softnecks is that some garlic aficionados will claim that hardnecks have a richer, more robust, more truly garlic flavor, while the softnecks tend to have a little bit milder, more vegetal flavor that's better for raw consumption, but maybe not so much for roasting and cooking. But again, there are so many different varieties even within the two groups that you'll find that there are huge flavor differences even amongst the softnecks and the hardnecks. Tip number 2, garlic likes to have nice, loose, loamy soil with a lot of organic matter in it. So if you tend to have a little bit heavier soil, which I do here, it's nice to work in some rich compost or organic matter into the soil prior to planting. If you have really heavy, dense clay soil, working your beds up into kind of a raised bed or raised row with organic matter is a really nice way to promote drainage as well. You'll want the pH to be between about 6 and 7. I usually don't fertilize at all in the fall. I will work compost into the soil sometimes, but I've had better results with just focusing on using a nitrogen-rich fertilizer first thing in the spring when that top growth starts, and then also about mid to end of May when those bulbs start to swell. I'll give it another application, and that usually will promote nice big garlic bulbs for harvest. Tip number 3, fall is for planting. While in some areas of the country you can get away with a spring planted garlic, you're going to have a lot better results most often with planting in the fall. For most areas, you're going to want to plant about 3 to 5 weeks before your ground is freezing hard. In areas in the south where you don't get frozen ground, late November kind of through mid-December is a good time. And if you do have to plant in the spring, just make sure you get out there and plant as early in the spring as possible.